What's good, Ravens fans? We are going to talk about midseason awards. Let's jump in. First, off the bat, we're just going to say this really quickly. Lamar Jackson is going to get the MVP award from me. Again, the team revolves around him. I don't really need to talk about how great he is. His season has been up and down, but again, without him, there is no season. So we're just going to say that from the bat, but we're going to get into some of the more interesting things. So first, Offensive Player of the Year has to go to Devin Duvernay. He has been the only consistent piece throughout the entire season. Other pieces have been up and down, hurts. The only time that Duvernay does not perform is when he doesn't get shots on ball. For you guys that don't know, doesn't get attempts to actually do things. Mark Andrews, of course, was a strong consideration for this, but Mark Andrews, he gets a lot of credit. We want to give this one to Devin Duvernay. His ability to run routes, especially those quick routes, his ability to come around on sweeps, his ability to return, all that great stuff just makes him a super valuable piece. We've seen him perform day in, day out. We've seen him do him as a running back, as a receiver. So he deserves an award, and we are going to give him our Offensive Player of the Year award for the mid-season point. Defensive Player of the Year was a harder award to give. The two choices are Marlon Humphrey or Justin Houston. I'm going to go Justin Houston. Now, again, I know you guys are going to say, Jason, he was injured for 3 games. I hear you and I understand. But when he's in the game, he really changes the defense. And it's hard for me to give it to Marlon Humphrey because when he was in those games that Justin Houston was not in, the defense was terrible. Now, he wasn't bad, but the defense as a whole was terrible. When you have a pass rusher who's affecting the quarterback, your defense is better instantly. So I would say that Justin Houston is more valuable defensive MVP than Marlon Humphrey, only because I've seen the defense with Marlon Humphrey in the game, and I've seen the defense with Justin Houston in the game. And I can tell you, Justin Houston is making a bigger impact on the overall defense. So Justin Houston, his ability to get to sacks, his ability to be the best outside linebacker on the team right now, gets him Defensive Player of the Year. Now, for Offensive Rookie of the Year, again, this is pretty easy for me. It's going to be Tyler Linderbaum. Again, the only other option was Isaiah Likely, and though it is Isaiah's season, it's still a little too early. Again, he had 2 good games, but again, he was not really getting a lot of shots on ball. He wasn't getting those chances to really flourish. Now, that's Greg Roman's fault. Greg Roman has to do more to get one of our best players involved in the game, but that's just what it is. He hasn't done it yet. So for Offensive Rookie of the Year, we're going to Tyler Linderbaum. He's been getting better every single game. He's been really consistent as of late. Again, his small size does let him get beat specifically in passing situations. We've seen him get beat several times with the bull rush, but when it comes to being a run blocker, especially when he's pulling, again, he's really great at that. The scouting people said this. All the scouts said he was going to be one of the best centers. He's going to grow into become one of the best centers in the league, especially as he gets stronger, because he'll be able to hold up against those big pass rushing defensive tackles. Sometimes it's hard to see the impact of a safety if you're watching on national television, but when you watch the film and you look at the numbers, you can really see Kyle Hamilton is playing at a high level. Pro Football Focus ranks him as the highest rated rookie safety of all rookie safeties. Again, he had some struggles in the beginning of the season. Again, we really overloaded them from just a scheme perspective, a practice perspective. We know that the Ravens practice hard. We throw a lot of information in the beginning of the year, but once they started getting this information, the rookies are performing well, and Kyle Hamilton has been everywhere. We have seen Kyle Hamilton make plays in the backfield. We've seen Kyle Hamilton get there on pressures. We've seen Kyle Hamilton go sideline to sideline. He hasn't really made any splash plays yet in the deep thirds, but when he gets there, again, he's going to be excellent, and he's still getting better every single game, just like Tyler Linderbaum. So again, this is going to be a good draft for us. We really knew that when we were coming in, but it took some time to mature and get to this point, and Kyle Hamilton is going to be one of the premier defensive backs in the league. Again, the Ravens are stacked at safety. There's going to have to be some hard decisions between Marcus Williams, Chuck Clark, Kyle Hamilton, and Geno Stone, because all of them can be starters in the NFL, and you just can't have that much money at a position like safety, which is literally maybe the least valued position in the NFL of all the skill positions. So that is where we're going for the major 4 awards. We're going to get into some less popular awards, but we'll get into them anyway. Comeback Player of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year is easy for me. Has to go to Ronnie Stanley. Ronnie Stanley came back, and the Ravens did a great job with him coming back. Last year, they rushed him. This year, they let him come back. They spied him. They got him some rest in between games. Again, Makari deserves some recognition because he's given the Ravens the flexibility to do this. So I really am impressed with both of those players. But for comeback player of the year, Ronnie Stanley has come back, has become one of the premier left tackles in the league again. He really does not let up that many pressures. He hasn't let up any sacks yet. So again, this is just an excellent showing from Ronnie Stanley this year. Hopefully he gets stronger and stronger. The Ravens have a great schedule ahead of them where we do not have to play players who we think will get re-injured. The schedule is so easy that we don't have to be in that situation. So Ronnie Stanley will be ready for the playoff run, and hopefully the skills that he is showing currently overlap into that because he is impressive and the comeback player of the year. Now, for coach of the year, guys, again, it's only 3 choices, right? We're not going to include John Harbaugh, but I do want to give some love to coaches. And unfortunately, because you guys know I'm not big on Greg Roman, but the truth is that Greg Roman, again, has one of the top scoring offenses in the league. Is that him or is that Lamar? I don't know. But the fact is that if we compare the 2 coordinators, Mike Macdonald is just not on the same level when it comes to production and productivity, even though Mike Macdonald has most of the salary on the defense, right? Again, who are we really paying on offense other than Mark Andrews and Ronnie Stanley? So this is just, disappointing to say, but Greg Roman, he's probably going to be safe, guys. We're not going to have any changes there because, again, even though he isn't doing what we think he should do, we're not keeping up with some of the best offenses in the league. Being number 4 in this league is still very impressive from a point score perspective. So shout out to Greg Roman. He is the coach of the year on the coaching staff. So shout out. So again, just to do a quick recap, Lamar Jackson, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Devin Duvernay, Defensive Player of the Year, Justin Houston, Offensive Rookie of the Year, Tyler Linderbaum, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Kyle Hamilton, Comeback Player of the Year, Ronnie Stanley, and then Coordinator of the Year, we're going to go with Greg Roman. So guys, thank you so much. Subscribe, follow. We do these all the time. So please come back. Thanks and go Ravens.